The past 3 days, we have had so much rain. You can see some of the puddles behind me, but this means that I have not been super great at gathering eggs from my hens. We have around 30 hens, and there are gonna be some dirty eggs in there. I have my egg collecting bucket, and we're gonna go ahead, get some of the eggs, and talk a little bit about how you can actually clean your eggs the proper way. It's really important that when you are raising your own chickens, that you are cleaning your eggs properly, because there can be contaminants that can get in your eggs, and it can cause you to get really sick, and it's just not good to be eating dirty eggs in general. So first off, before we even go in there, some ways that you can be keeping your eggs cleaner from the get-go is definitely making sure that you are collecting eggs on a regular daily basis. Depending on how many chickens you have laying, you might even want to go in more than one time, and I always suggest just going in early and going in often. Your hens are usually going to be laying their eggs in the morning, so if you come out, you check your coop in the morning, let your chickens out into the run, that's going to be a great time to actually gather your eggs. It has been chilly, rainy, and gross, so I've just not done any of that. I've been really bad, and I just know the situation is going to be disgusting. Another way that you can just make sure that you're going to have cleaner eggs from the start is making sure that you have enough nesting boxes for your chickens. You're usually going to want to have around 1 nesting box per every 4 chickens, give or take. So depending on how much space you have, you can allocate more nesting boxes. This is going to make sure that all of your chickens have a spot to actually lay their eggs in. They aren't laying them around your property or on the ground, although sometimes they do anyway. And I do have a video on how to train your chickens not to do that. I will link it down below. But making sure that they're laying in their nesting boxes and making sure that you have clean nesting boxes. You're putting in a soft bedding on the ground. We like to just use hay because it is readily available at our homestead. It's cheap, affordable, and is a great spot for them to be laying in. Also, when you are cleaning it out early and often, it's going to prevent the fact that there could be lots of eggs in there that might crush when they go in to lay their eggs. I just know going in right now, because it's been a few days since I've gone in there, there's going to be some crushed eggs, and those crushed eggs are then going to mean that all the other eggs are really dirty because they've gotten some of the yolks on them. And then I also have chickens that were outside in the rain coming in and getting all that muddiness onto those eggs. So I really just don't want to go in and do this, but I'm going to go in and do it because the sooner I do it, the better. So let's go. Not actually as bad as I thought. Some of them have just a little bit on it. Some of them have a lot more bit on it, but honestly, way better than I've seen sometimes. And actually, no broken eggs, which is what we like to see. And some ways that I like to assure that I'm going to even have good eggs, which we have some really great layers. The first one is always providing free and unlimited amounts of water. This egg and what's inside takes a lot of water in order to produce, so you want to make sure that your chickens are always very well hydrated and they have enough water so that they can produce these beautiful goodies that you can be using in your kitchen. The next thing is providing a really great layer mix feed for your chickens. We use NatureServe here at our homestead, and our chickens absolutely love it. It's a layer mix with just the right amount of nutrients for them to lay the perfect egg. And let me tell you, they taste amazing, they look amazing, and everyone loves the eggs from our homestead. Okay, let's go inside and clean these eggs up the right way. Let's talk a little bit about how long a fresh egg actually lasts for. When you're purchasing an egg from the grocery store, those eggs can often be months old. And if you take any fresh egg that you have from your chickens and you take it in and you actually refrigerate it, so if it's nice clean like this, it's already pretty clean. I definitely would wash this right before I eat it, but if it's clean like this, I can go ahead and just pop it in the refrigerator and it will last for 3 months at least, as long as it's a good egg that has no cracks in it. If I take this egg and I just put it out on the counter, so a lot of times we will just keep our eggs out on the counter, whether dirty or clean, we'll just keep them out like this if we know we're gonna be using them. They're gonna last for around 2 weeks out on the counter. That doesn't even need to be refrigerated. But if you know that you have room in your refrigerator, I suggest just popping them in your fridge because that's gonna keep them lasting the longest. And it's just gonna help keep the integrity of the egg and just make them so that they don't get uncontaminated and you don't have to worry about dates of your eggs. Now, if you have dirtier eggs like this one, you obviously cannot be selling an egg like this. This is also very abnormal looking, but you can't be selling dirty eggs if you are selling these, so you oftentimes will need to clean your eggs. So what I like to do is I will create a nice big bowl of my eggs and I will create a nice warm bath for my eggs. Now you want to make sure that you are not doing too cold or too hot. Anywhere around 110 degrees Fahrenheit is going to be perfect. I would say anything that's not something you would burn your hands with, probably something that you would wash your hands in is a good temperature. Now, if you do something that is too cold, what is going to happen is the inside of the egg right here is going to shrivel up inside and it can cause some contamination to get inside. Likewise, if you do too hot of a rinse, this can affect the cuticle or the bloom of the egg, which is the outside covering of your egg, which we do not want to affect. If the bloom or cuticle is ruined from washing, either by too hot of water, scrubbing too hard, or anything of the likes, then it can lead to your egg getting contaminated and getting some of that grossness inside. So we definitely do not want to remove the bloom from our eggs, which is why I create a nice warm bath for our eggs. Now, we don't want our eggs to be sitting in this warm bath for too long. We want to make this a pretty good, clean process. So kind of start the water, let them sit, gather, create your little cleaning station, and then we can go ahead and start washing our eggs. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my sink and turn on a nice warm water. I'll turn on outside of them first when my sink heats up. As I'm starting to create this bath, I am just going to take out any eggs that are pretty clean and I'm just going to start to lay them on a dried towel. We want to make sure that we're not rubbing or ruining that bloom on the outside of our eggs too much. So I like to use my free cleaners, which are my fingers, and a light sponge can work as well. I usually use an older sponge and then throw it away after, or something that I can wash, or that's a specific eggshell, so it's not going to contaminate any of my dishes in the future as well. So it's really important as you're doing this, you are just using a gentle sponge to clean it. You're not using any cleaning agents because you don't want to, again, ruin the bloom of your egg. And when you are doing this, you don't want to be doing anything super aggressive because you don't want to crack your egg, obviously. So just nice, gentle. If you can get any off with your fingers, you can always do that as well. And I've definitely noticed that just having them soaking in this sponge bath, this water bath, really helps remove a lot of the debris from them as well. Now that I have washed all of these eggs, I am just setting them down to dry. It's important that you aren't using a paper towel or a towel to dry them, as this can transfer bacteria onto them, and you want to make sure that they are super clean. Once they're dry, then we pack them into their egg cartons. We'll usually label them with the date and stick them into the fridge. Once they are washed, you really do want to eat them as fast as you can. But obviously, if you are selling these, they do still have a good shelf life in the refrigerator. Once they're washed, you want to make sure that they are in a refrigerator. And you can still advise any customers to still wash them once they've gotten their eggs right before they eat them to better help eliminate any additional bacteria or anything of the likes. But that is all you really need to do is first make sure that your coop is set up for success by eliminating things that can cause your eggs to get dirty. So hopefully you can just take some out and they're already nice and clean. And then next up, doing your water bath, cleaning them off nice and gentle as to not remove that bloom or cuticle from your eggs, and storing them in a refrigerator is going to be the best way to keep them for as long as you can. We love eggs, and if you're ever afraid that maybe they've been on the shelf for a little too long, they've been out on the counter for a little too long, in the refrigerator for a little too long, I always suggest just throwing them away. You're always going to get more eggs from your hens, so worst case scenario, you have to wait a day or two to get some more, but you want to make sure that you're staying healthy and you're not getting anything that could be having bacteria or contamination in it. Happy chick laying, and we'll see you guys again next time. Bye.